You may call your next witness.
State calls Shannon Brown. What's that? No, you didn't say anything about that. Yeah. Will you raise your right hand, ma'am? Do you swear or affirm testimony you'll give to the court today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Okay.
All right. Would you please just state and spell your name for the record?
It's Shannon Brown, SHANNON
And ma'am, where are you currently employed?
at the Athens Clark County Sheriff's Office.
All right. And what, well, let me ask you this. Does the Athens Clark County Sheriff's Office keep known photos of individuals from certain times?
We do.
Yes, sir.
I would object to this line of questioning, Your Honor.
Okay.
In regards, I would object under Rule 403. The evidence that the state is attempting to introduce, its probative value is substantially outweighed by its prejudicial impact or its undue prejudice. And I would also object under Rule 404B, OCGA 24-4-404B, as it gets into improper character evidence.
All right, thank you. And anything specific with regard to 403, other than probative value outweighs?
Probative value is outweighed.
That's just, okay. All right, thank you. Mr. Yalman, any response?
Excuse me, substantially outweighed.
I understood, thank you.
I think it would probably be helpful for the court to see the exhibit.
Okay. You know what? We're going to do it again this way. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to ask you to go into the jury room. Please don't discuss the case. I think it's best we do it that way, counsel. Y'all may be seated. Thank you. All right. Mr. Yalman, one of the reasons I want to send the jury out is I don't really know what you all are going to start talking about.
Well,
Secondly, could you repeat the question that there was an objection to and give me more context?
The question, Your Honor, was whether or not the Clark County Sheriff's Office keeps known pictures of individuals from certain dates and times.
Okay. All right. Thank you. And so you were going to show me the exhibit. You thought that was
sorry.
best for, I need to get a context of what you're
Yes,
asking.
I'm sorry. 112 residents? Okay.
Yes, 112.
I'm marking State's Exhibit 112, Your Honor.
And then after I take a look at it, if you can respond to Mr. Cruz's objection to 403, thank you, 412, I'm sorry, 403 and 44B.
And Judge, I just handed the court the exhibit, but for purposes of the record, that would be Mr. Faust's booking photo from early February of 2021, about 2 weeks after the incident. I believe that it is the same or a similar photo to the one that Mr. Cruz showed in openings during his demonstrative aid that he presented to the jury, saying that this was the evidence that he would expect that would come in, showing Mr. Faust's physical appearance, basically as close as we have it, to the date of the crime. It is certainly relevant in aiding the in making determinations about the accuracy of the sketches done by Miss Lawson, Miss Marla Lawson, the GBI sketch artist that did work at the time. I've instructed Miss Brown, and I think she understands that we're not going to refer to it as a mugshot, a booking photo, make reference to arrest, or anything regarding charges. I'll also note for the court that a stipulation to the admissibility of the photo as being a known image of Mr. Faust from that date and time that it was taken was offered to the defense prior to us beginning evidence in the case. It was discussed with Mr. Cruz again when I offered to stipulate to that yesterday, did not receive a response. I offered again to stipulate to that this morning and informed Mr. Cruz that this would be our last opportunity to reach an agreement on a stipulation to the photograph. And he indicated to me that he would give me a response in approximately 5 minutes, and I did not hear again from him about that. So we have Ms. Brown, who's the custodian or a custodian of records at the Clark County Sheriff's Office, to authenticate the photo. It is certainly relevant. And I believe with the limitations on the way that is referred to, I mean, honestly, Judge, even if you referred to it as a booking photo, I still think that the probative value would be not substantially outweighed by any unfair or undue prejudice of the evidence, but certainly with the limitation of not referring to it as a booking photo or arrest photo or anything along those lines, its probative value is not substantially outweighed by danger of unfair prejudice, confusion of the issues, or any of the other reasons that admission would be barred by 403. It is most certainly relevant. I mean, I think that that's established by both parties by the fact that Mr. Cruz used either that image or a very similar one during his opening statement.
So I do have some questions, and we may have to take a recess for me to do some research. So first of all, even if you don't refer to it, if it is admitted as a booking photo, I mean, there's no question that's what it is. I mean, you can look at it and determine that. So how is that not violative of, at the very least, 404B, at the most attempting to put Mr. Faust's character into issue? So,
well, Judge, it would be violative of 404B if we're seeking to introduce evidence of a previous crime or other act, but we're not actually introducing any evidence of the act that was committed that resulted in Mr. Faust getting arrested on February, I believe, 8th of 2021. We're simply showing that as a known image of Mr. Faust from that time period. If the court is concerned with the background of the image, we have a version in which the background was able to be removed. And so, I mean, this is a version that I could hand to Ms. Brown with the understanding that there wouldn't be an objection to the fact that this image has been altered from the record that was kept by the Clark County Sheriff's Office. We're certainly happy to do that, but I do believe that a known image, even if it is one that is generated as part of an arrest for a different incident than the one that Mr. Faust or any criminal defendant is on trial for, is admissible, especially under these circumstances where we're talking about 25 years later and everyone's appearance has changed substantially. It is especially important to establish Mr. Faust's appearance at the time. If this were a situation where, you know, a year had gone by or 18 months or something along those lines, then you may be in a different position unless there's some kind of special circumstance showing that the defendant's appearance has changed substantially since the time of the crime. But in this case, Judge, just the passage of time has led to a situation where Mr. Faust, Ms. Peavy Hall, Dr. Lowe, basically everybody that's come to testify in this case looks very different than they did at the time of the incident. So that's why it's relevant and necessary.
well, and I understand your relevance argument, and I think you've made an appropriate relevance argument, and I'll certainly let you respond, Mr. Cruz, but so don't worry. But my concern is beyond that. My concern is this line of questioning with this witness and this particular photo. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to let you make a response, certainly, Mr. Cruz, but I'm going to go do some research. So we'll be in recess until I get back. Hopefully it'll be 15 minutes, but I'm going to give you back your exhibit. If anybody has any case law they want to present the court, they certainly can, but I will be back in hopefully 15 minutes. We'll be in recess. Thank you. Say anything. First of all, let me give the state back this exhibit. and it's your motion, Mr. Cruz. Anything further you want to tell the court?
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead.
As the Honorable Court is aware, within its wisdom, Georgia adopted the federal rules of evidence in 2013. And those rules of evidence were, just to be safe, I'll say excluding very few, but were pretty much a replica of the federal rules of evidence. And as the Georgia legislature has explained, that when it comes to interpreting the Georgia rules of evidence, we look to the decisions of the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals. And that's State v. Almaza, and that's A as in apple.
You can just spell it. She can hear you.
Yes, ma'am. That's A-L-M-A-N-Z-A. And that's 304, Georgia, 553. Also State v. Brown, 333, Georgia Appeal, 643. Under our current evidence code, Your Honor, of course, indulgence to pull up the statute. Under our current evidence code, Your Honor, our rule, OCGA 24-404, is similar to the federal statute, language-wise. They're identical statutes. We found a case from the 11th Circuit, which is United States v. Hines, and that's H-I-N-E-S in Sailor. And this is a 1992 case, and I'll wrap it around together with our current evidence code, which states, mugshots carry a clear implication of criminal activity that breaches the rule against admitting evidence of the defendant's bad character or previous brushes with the law. At the time that this case came out, Your Honor, the federal evidence code stated, which is identical to our evidence code. And the reason I'm making this comparison is because that case is from '92, just to avoid any argument that it's inapplicable to the issue we're dealing with here. But the evidence code in 1992 stated, federal evidence code, character evidence generally, and it's the exact same thing that we currently have, evidence of a person's character or a trait of character is not admissible for the purpose of proving action in conformity therewith on a particular occasion, except, and it goes through the same exceptions we have. So those statutes are materially identical to our current statute. So, Your Honor, based on the law, based on the federal rules and the ruling of the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals, as well as our statute, I will present to the court the exact same argument that was part of the Honorable Court's ruling in United States v. Hines, and specifically the mugshot that Mr. Yalamachili would like to introduce. It does carry a clear implication of criminal activity that breaches the rule against admitting evidence of the defendant's bad character or previous brushes with the law. When Mr. Yalamachili spoke to me, just to address our conversations, earlier today, I explained to him it was a tentative yes, but not to that photo. I didn't see this mugshot photo side and front until the witness was called to the was on the bench testifying. What we are willing to stipulate to, and this may resolve the issue, is the photo of just Mr. Faust looking forward. That photo alone, we have no issue with. But as far as the mugshot photos together, that our position is that it does violate OCGA 24-4-404, B as bad character evidence.
All right, thank you, Mr. Cruz. I do have a question for you, since you've sort of proffered an offer, so to speak, for a stipulation. Was your objection extended or meant to encompass this witness that the state had testifying about the photograph, the one photograph you're offering to have admitted into evidence. Is that part of your objection, or is it the mugshot itself?
Can you ask me that question again?
Yes, I didn't. That wasn't terribly articulate. So the state has a witness.
Yes, ma'am.
Who they have asked, do you keep certain photos, something to that effect, in your department or your office? I don't remember the exact language. And it sort of stopped there. I'm assuming they were going to ask this witness, do you recognize this photo, or something to that effect. So I guess my question for you is, given the fact that you are offering to not object to the introduction of the photograph you've described,
Correct.
does your objection extend to this witness commenting on it, or?
Just to make sure that I explain it clearly, from what I understand, her testimony would be, from what Mr. Yalamachili explained to me, is just simply to introduce the photo. From what I understand from our conversations, there's been no discussion regarding her making any mention, any descriptions, or talking about the picture. I understand her testimony is for the sole purpose of introducing that mugshot photo.
And you don't have a problem with that?
No, I do have. It's the exact same photo, because we intended to introduce it, that was shown during opening, and what it displayed was just Mr. Faust looking forward. That I have no issue with, but the looking forward and the side profile photo, Your Honor, that is what we're objecting to. Those photos together.
I understand what you're saying. Thank you. Mr. Yalamachili, were you aware of the defense's offer, so to speak, before I walked in?
As far as an offer to stipulate?
Oh, yeah, about that picture.
Well, that's not exactly what was said, Your Honor. At the beginning of the trial, as court knows, the state and defense had been discussing some stipulations for some period of time. Mr. Bolden started those conversations with Mr. Cruz probably 3 weeks before we started jury selection. I sent the written proposed stipulations, tried to follow up a couple of times. I talked to Mr. Cruz, who initially had told us that Mr. Faust did not want to stipulate to anything, and so there would be no stipulations. And then this morning he said, that's a yes from me, but I need to check with him and I'll get you an answer in 5 minutes. And then I never heard anything before we started the evidence in the case. I would state to the court that the offered written stipulation before the start of the trial was that the parties stipulate to the foundation for the admissibility of the defendant's booking photo from February 2001, and that is a fair and accurate depiction of the defendant on the date it was taken. The state shall refrain from making any reference to the image as a booking photograph or otherwise indicating that the photograph is related to illegal acts committed by the defendant. If Mr. Cruz is willing to stipulate to the foundation, I don't need to put it in through a witness from the Clark County Sheriff's Office, and I won't. It would need to be a stipulation that it is both an accurate image of Mr. Faust, and it is an image from February 8th of 2001 at 4:33 p.m. I mean, that would be the stipulation, and I'm fine as it. We've got multiple large copies of it, Your Honor. We're fine doing the front-facing only. There's one, I don't even know that Mr. Cruz did this with the image that they used in opening. Obviously, you've seen 112. There's cinder blocks. We have one with the background washed out to be white.
You showed me that. I mean, I think that's certainly better than the cinder blocks.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So let me just say this. I'm going to give you all a couple of minutes to talk about how to go forward with the picture. And here's the reason. Case law is pretty clear that a booking photo just in and of itself is not necessarily inadmissible, just based on the fact it's a booking photo. It is dependent on the circumstances upon which it is being asked to be introduced. This particular case, I'm really not even making a comment on whether the photo is admissible or not. That's not really your issue. Your issue is that you're trying to get that photo in through the sheriff's department. And that moment in and of itself creates the implication that is inadmissible, which is that Mr. Faust at some point in the past had been arrested for something. That's the moment that I think the case law is pretty clear is inadmissible. So the photo itself, even a booking photo in the manner that you have suggested, I'm not making a ruling that it is not inadmissible based on Mr. Cruz's objection. What I'm sustaining your objection, Mr. Cruz, but I'm sustaining it because the manner in which the state was trying to introduce it is inadmissible through the Sheriff's Department. That implication, I think, it's pretty clear, the case law is pretty clear, that implication is violative of 403. And so I'm going to give you all some time to talk about what you can stipulate to. I think the suggestion that both parties have made about that one photo with the background washed out, so to speak, certainly makes sense. The case law is pretty clear that booking photos are typically admissible. It just has to be admitted in the right context. So I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to do that. Tell me when y'all are ready. All right. Go ahead, Mr. Yellow-Chili.
Thank you, Judge. We have an agreement, and
Okay.
would you like me to leave the other one labeled 112? Obviously, it wouldn't go with the evidence to the jury, or label the new picture 112.
I think the new picture needs to be 113.
Okay.
I would say.
And I would just state for the record, 112 was never displayed to the jury in
Okay.
any way.
All right, and if you all will put on the record your stipulation.
Yes, Your Honor. State's Exhibit 113 is a picture of Mr. Faust, and the parties stipulate that it is, in fact, an accurate picture of Mr. Faust on February 8th of 2001. As far as how the court wants us to handle that when the jury comes back in, would you like me to move to tender 113 and just state that the parties stipulate or agree that it is an accurate picture of Mr. Faust from February 8th of 2001?
Okay, let me hear from Mr. Cruz first, and then I'll tell you what sort of I'm thinking about. Mr. Cruz, you want to be heard on that? And do you agree with that stipulation? I just want to make sure we're on the same page.
I do.
Okay?
What I understand, just to make sure that we're clear, he's just going to announce the stipulation to the jury. The witness won't be on the witness stand. Is that right?
Well, yes and no. I don't know what your plan is for this witness, but in terms of this photograph, I would answer yes, that it is inadmissible to introduce the photograph you stipulated to through this witness. Yes.
And I don't need the witness on the witness
All right.
stand then, Judge.
So the
And
answer is
after
yes.
this, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, after we announce the stipulation, I just asked to publish it to the jury, and that's it.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Let me ask you, anything else, Mr. Cruz? Is that?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. Yalmachili, do you need this witness?
I don't. I'd ask that she be excused.
All right. Mr. Cruz, any objection?
No, ma'am.
All right. You are free to go. All right. Anything else before I bring the jury back in?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Cruz, you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You can bring the jury in. Thank you. You all may be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your patience. We are back on the record. Mr. Yalmachili.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state has marked State's Exhibit 113. There is a stipulation between the parties that State's Exhibit 113 is an accurate picture of Mr. Faust from February 8th of 2001. So I'd move to tender it into evidence.
Mr. Cruz, any response?
No objection, Your Honor.
It is admitted.
And I'd seek to publish it to the jury at this time.